Welcome to On a Quick Note on the Neoliberal podcast. I just actually wrote and published an article in the Neoliberal journals entitled "The UN, the UN and its Security Council are becoming irrelevant." Um, Last night I learned by watching some news media. I think I was watching Fox, and someone was reporting that it is believed that China there's a developing story that China is either secretly or on planning on sending weapons to Iran. Well, that story is developing, and I thought, and according to the presenters and the pundits, it's a violation of the embargo imposed by the UN. But I thought about it, and after doing some thinking, I wrote an op-ed which I published this morning entitled "The UN and its Security Council are becoming irrelevant." It's available in the Neoliberal Post at renaldomckenzie.com and the Neoliberal Journals at the neoliberal.com. You can check it out. But it's also available in the Neoliberal podcast. This is the YouTube version of it. But in the article, I said the UN and its Security Council are becoming or is becoming irrelevant today, depending on whether or not we are viewing them as an entity, separate entities, or two. But here I'm viewing them as one entity. The UN and its Security Council is becoming irrelevant today, not because the idea has failed, but have because its members have. Again, the UN and its Security Council is becoming irrelevant today, not because the idea has failed, but because its members have violated, because its members have become irrelevant. They violate their own treaties, ignore their own agreements, and they pretend that the rules still bind others. This is the danger. When powerful states act without restraint, they set precedents that weaken the very systems meant to hold them accountable. In the article, I said that there is a story developing that China is planning or may have already begun sending weapons to Iran, an apparent violation of the arms embargo imposed by the UN. But here lies the contradiction. Here lies the contradiction. How does the international community hold China hold China accountable when the United States and Israel have themselves violated UN principles? They have engaged in military actions that have resulted in civilian deaths and infringed upon the sovereignty of other nations without meaningful consultation with the UN. In the article, I go on to say that Russia too stands in violation through its war with Ukraine, yet it justifies its actions by pointing to what it sees as the hypocrisy of the West. It argues that the UN framework has already been compromised, that selective enforcement has replaced universal principle. And in this fractured order, each nation finds its own justification. So Iran, under attack, asserts its right to defend itself. The United States sends weapons to Ukraine in the name of defending sovereignty. And now China may see itself as doing the same for Iran. This is the dangerous cycle we have created. One where every violation becomes a justification for the next. Now, this is not just instability. This is how a world war begins. The United Nations was established to prevent a world war, to create a system where disputes could be resolved through law rather than force. But when its powerful members act outside of its charter, When they refuse to hold each other accountable, they do not just weaken the UN, they dismantle it. The United States must be held accountable. Israel must stop its bombing campaigns in Lebanon. Russia must end its war against Ukraine. These are not optional demands. They are necessary if the UN is to have any meaning left. But the danger is already done. The precedents set by the United States, Russia, and Israel have opened the door for others. And now, as China considers its own actions, we are forced to confront an uncomfortable question. Is China violating the UN Charter? Or is it simply operating within the broken logic that others have already established? When rules are applied selectively, they are no longer rules. They are tools of convenience. And when the system meant to prevent global conflict becomes a stage for power, politics, then we are no longer maintaining peace. We are inching closer to chaos, to war. The UN was meant to stop a world war, but if this path continues, it may instead become a witness to one. This article is available in the Neoliberal.com and RenaldoMcKenzie.com entitled The UN and its Security Council Are Becoming Irrelevant, published today, April 13th, 2026. I will share this op-ed to the Jamaica Gleaner for their consideration. Please email me at RenaldoMcKenzie.com or at RenaldoMcKenzie@gmail.com or info@theneoliberal.com. And visit us at anchor.fm/theneoliberal or via YouTube at Renaldo McKenzie. Support us. Walk good.
This is the Neoliberal Podcast.